What's going on, everybody? RPG back with some more Predecessor content. Here we are in the practice realm with a new character, Aurora. We're going to do a quick build on Aurora. I think I figured out a decent build on her by now. It took me a little while to do it, but I think this one is pretty damn good. So, in my opinion, building her full tank doesn't necessarily feel that great, and building her full damage doesn't feel that great. So I go with a hybrid build here. I start out with the Titan Crest, and I build the Titan Crest into Sapphire's Mantle, mainly for the bonus HP, and you're going to see why later on in the build. But we go Tank Crest, we go Sapphire's Mantle, however you say it. That's how we start out. And with the first item, you go with the reworked version of Magnify. It's got 60 magical power, 300 health, 8% Omnivamp, which is crazy. They just added that to this item. You get 10 ability haste. You get 100 stacks of Empower. It will empower your next basic attack to deal 50 plus 25% of your magical power as damage. It also shreds 15% of the target's magical armor. This is the perfect item for Aurora. If you see an enemy Aurora on the other team, she's picking Magnify first. You're picking Magnify first. Everyone's picking Magnify first. It's just the best item you could pick on her as a first buy. From there, we're going to go into Oathkeeper. Now, if you look at Oathkeeper, 80 magical power, 250 health, 20 ability haste. Both of these have ability haste, magical power, and health. You see where the build is going with the max health, Sapphire's Mantle, increasing your max health infinitely, that crest. So everything's going to have magical power, max health, ability haste. That's what we're going for here. So now Oathkeeper, it kind of has the same effect. It says when you use an ability, empower your next basic attack within 4 seconds to deal 35% magical power plus 80% physical power on hit. Same thing as this. Once you're at 100 stacks, your next basic attack does X amount of more damage. So these play hand in hand with one another. Now from here, those are your two starter items. Those are going to be your main, your core damaging abilities, your core damaging items. And where we're going to go from here is into our physical armor max health. And believe it or not, I like Dawnstar. I like Dawnstar on this character and this build. If you look at what Dawnstar does, 250 health, you get 75% health regen, your base health regen, more ability haste, and you get 20 physical armor. So it's a decently tanky item, and it still gives you ability haste. And if you look at the tooltip here, on basic attacks on heroes, you reduce their damage dealt by 2% for 3 seconds, and it stacks up to 5 times. So with your basic attacks, you can reduce the enemy's damage 10%, which is awesome. And then Crusader, when you immobilize a target, you gain 20% attack speed, which is nutty. And that's immobilizing a target. So you can do her Ring of Frost, or you could do her ultimate. Both of those immobilized targets, gaining you 20% attack speed, helping you reduce their damage done by 10% even quicker. That's where Dawnstar comes into play into this build. And our next item, we're going to stick with the physical armor max health, and we're going to go right into Elefrost. So Elefrost, another physical armor tank item, big health, 400 health, 125% base mana regen, and as you can see again, ability haste. Every single item so far has ability haste, so we can keep spamming abilities with her. And you get 25 physical armor, which is nice. The tooltip at the bottom, empower your next basic attack within 4 seconds after you cast an ability to deal 15 plus 80% of your physical power and 2% of your max health damage on hit around the target. That slows them for 20%. So if you look at the build so far, you have empower your next basic attack on Magnify, and it shreds armor. You have empower your next basic attack on Oathkeeper, and it does magical and physical on hit. You have empower your next basic attack on Elefrost. You see where this is going. And Dawnstar, you basically just get buffed when you root or slow, and you reduce the enemy damage that they do. This is where we move into magical armor. And we're going to go with, no-brainer here, Flux Matrix. This is the main magical armor tank item you go on this character. And the reason you do that is because of the tooltip on the bottom that says nearby enemy heroes take 10% additional magical damage just by being near them, and they have their tenacity reduced by 20%. So they'll stay slowed, rooted, stunned, knocked up longer the lower their tenacity is, and they're taking 10% increased magical damage. And again, if you look, ability haste on this one. Huge health and some magical armor. That's going to be the only magical armor we put on this build. From there, we're going to finish the build off with World Breaker. So World Breaker is the only item on here that doesn't have ability haste, but we have 5 other items with ability haste, so it's kind of overkill at this point. And this item, big magical, well, not big magical power, big health, 300 health, 40 magical power, 20% tenacity. And if you look down here, it says, on dealing magical damage to a hero, increases your magical damage dealt by 2% for 3 seconds, stacks up to 6 times. Awesome. And then you have Maya on the bottom, gain 4% health as magical power. That's why we go with the Titan Crest into Saphir's Mantle here, because you can infinitely stack your max health. And then we have 2 Magical Bruiser items, both with big health on them. 3 tank items with health on them. And then World Breaker, another Magical Bruiser item with health on it. So you're doing the, what is it called here? The Spellblade, where you're empowering your next basic attack with 3 different items. You're getting pretty tanky, and then with all that health, you're doing more magical power. Like I was saying in the beginning, full tank feels okay. It doesn't feel great. And full damage, honestly, in my opinion, does not feel great on her. That's why I like this nice Magical Bruiser, tanky hybrid on this character. And, you know what? I guess that's going to do it for this video. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Thanks for tuning in.